Hi everyone, and welcome to the Canadian Redneck channel. My name's Dave, and today going to be going through probably the last reloading video for my 9x57 Mauser, because I've actually come up with a couple of decent loads for it. Start out with our 200 grain flex tip bullets. Did these first because that's what I had available. There's not a lot of bullets available in a 35 caliber, and at the time these were what I could get. The flex tip mainly are meant for lever action rifles, and the factory loads for this rifle that I have were 245, so I really wanted something more like in the 245-250 range, but the 200s were available and I wanted something to shoot with it, so worked up a load with these, and they actually worked quite well. Here's one of my range targets. You can see some of the bullet holes on this one here. They kind of grouped around reasonably well, close to the target. This one here I think was my best group I ever shot with that rifle. That's about an 1.25 inch group at 100 meters with open sights. So I was pretty proud of that. And then you can see this one here was kind of high and to the right. And that's what we were getting a lot of. That's something I kind of learned while doing this project. First thing is it's got a slim profile barrel. It was built as a sporting rifle, and ideally you take one, maybe two shots, and maybe that's it for the day, right? Or at least for that portion of the hunt. So it wasn't meant to be sustained fire like an army rifle. So the first thing I learned is that I can only shoot 3-shot groups with it. If I try to go for 5, the 4th bullet strings to the right about 3 inches, and the 5th about 6 inches. Okay, so interesting that your shot group goes to hell when you do that. But so I do 3-shot groups, open the bolt, stand it against the table so it will vent, chimney through the barrel and cool off. And either have to go check the target or shoot something else for a while and let the rifle cool. So first thing I learned was 3-shot groups, and then the next thing I learned was that with the 200 grain bullets, with different powder charges, it moves around the bullseye. I get a couple of groups high right, and the next group would jump high left, and then the group after that would come down well centered, maybe a little bit high or low, but I mean you can adjust your point of aim a little bit from that. And about the 2nd or 3rd group that was pretty well centered actually was good elevation also, and so that was the powder charge I worked with for those 200 grain bullets. Like I said, they've worked well, they're consistent. They're not up there with the advertised speeds on the old factory ammo. I think it was around 2,200 feet per second. I put a few over a chronograph just to check, and I think it was around 2,200 feet per second. So I went to the Federal Ammunition site, and they have a ballistic calculator that you can use there, put your figures in. Went to Hornaday and checked what they said the ballistic coefficient was for that bullet, and put in the numbers and so on, and so sighted at 100 yards. It should give me about 8.5 inch bullet drop at 200 and about 29 inches at 300. So you can see it's kind of like a piece of field artillery. It just lobs them in there at that range. So it's a bush gun, right? And I mean, open sights and old eyes, it's a bush gun. But it works well. As proof of that, this is bear skull that I shot with that rifle. One shot and he dropped like a bag of rocks. So got him right here just below the ear, and I collected the bullet under the skin on the far side of the neck. You can see here, this is what's left of the bullet jacket. The core was actually still in the jacket when I collected it from under the skin. I put them both carefully in my pocket while I was skinning the bear out, and when I got back into the house, I've lost the core of the bullet. But it mushroomed out well probably about 3/4 of an inch. So I mean, it made it mushroomed out well, made a good bullet, but they're not like a bonded bullet where the core is bonded right inside the jacket of the bullet. But you can see it. Like I said, it definitely mushroomed out the way they're supposed to. So then I was able to get 250 grain regular lead soft point bonded bullets. They are Hornady Interlock 250 grain soft point. And I was working up a load for these, and I found a load that shot pretty decent for them also. And you can see here's a target. And for the most part, the 250 grains, I'm not sure if that was even from the... Yeah, I think it was from the 250 grains. But anyway, for the most part, with the 250 grain bullets, they stayed reasonably well centered for the most part. There was a few that were off to the right a bit. But it was group size that kind of determined the one I picked from. Sometimes, see this one here just kind of makes a big group like that. This one here was a long stringing group. Now these two here, although a little high, were reasonable. I might have actually pulled that one over there. This one here, the whole group is over to the right a bit. And this one, you know, decent height, but over to the right some. But I did find a group, you know, that shot pretty decent. And for data, I was using 358 Winchester data, which they said you can use, would actually be a little bit on the conservative side with a 9mm Mauser. And so I did start pushing it a little bit, and when I got up there, the last powder charge that I tried was just getting at the very beginning of a bit of a heavy bolt lift. You just barely notice the difference between it and an unfired round. But I mean, this is an old gun. It's 100 years old, and I like my face the way it is, so I just backed off to the best group below that, and that's what I went with them. And that gives me right around 1990, 2,000 feet per second, somewhere in that range. And I think the original factory loading with 245s was supposed to be somewhere around 2,400 feet per second, something like that. So I might wiggle around, try some different powders later on. But for now, again, it'll give me a good bush gun, you know, with the 250 grain bullets. And so again, I put the information in the Federal Ammunition ballistic calculator, and with it zeroed at 100, at 200 yards I get a 10-inch drop, and at 300 yards a 33-inch drop. So basically it's going to be a close range gun. We've got a couple of decent loads for the old 9mm. We can keep feeding her for some time to come. Still working away at the cast bullets load. It wasn't one that was as important to me. It was just kind of for fun, for blinking. Getting a proper hunting round was what I was really interested in, and that's worked out. So anyway, I hope you found this series interesting. Maybe even got a few tips from it here and there, probably mostly from the comments, because I'm a complete newbie when it comes to all this. And anyway, thank you for watching. Please, you know, hit the like down there, give me a thumbs up. Any questions or comments, leave down in the comment section below. And, you know, subscribe to my channel. And as always, have a great day.